you have one for every past life that you've been here. I only was here once, so I only have one. I don't even have the mark, and I got it. So some people have 14, but normal's 4 to 7. And if somebody's over 20, that means they didn't get it. They kept coming back over and over because they're fickle. They don't know what they want. See?
I have a question.
Okay.
For instance, with her, you said that it was red.
It's like a neon
Does it
sign.
have to get red?
Yeah. If the person is around you, or if you're getting bright ideas of where to go, it's going to turn red. So we're talking about this thing that looks like this. It looks like that, just like a pyramid. One side is you, one side is the other person, and you're going to marry them right there at the point. That's what a soulmate is. The ski track is two people who march together from this. You have this, and a couple of you over there had the ski track and the thing, and you had both. So 1 in a million people, she has both. 1 in a million has the ski track, and I call it the ski track. But it's 2 lines going right down the middle of your hand. You can see them. You see them? And you look at the hand that you eat and write with. You don't look at your other hand. Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
So if it's your soulmate or whoever you're dating, should they have the same thing?
No. Their hand isn't your hand. This
But
is
I
a
meant,
record
should
of...
they have ski
No.
tracks?
They don't have to. You're carrying that person on your hand. They don't have to have it. I don't have the soulmate thing. My husband does. Now, he was married 16 years and got divorced. And when I met him, he'd been divorced 5 years. So, see, that I didn't break up a house or anything, but I had to raise his kids, and they were 5 and 8 at that time. And my kid is now 50, and his are 27 and 25, or 28 and 25. Big difference. So my son is 50, my husband is 64, and I'm over here. And it doesn't matter because my husband and I are 30 and my son is 50. And his kids are coming up on 30, get it? See? And I'm not going to ever change. That's who I've always been. But I was very shy. In the first marriage, I never opened my mouth. My husband, who passed away, was the life of the party. And I'd say, "Oh yes, great white father, whatever you say, I'll follow you." And he made the jokes and did everything everywhere we went. And this came out after I was alone, first time. So I wasn't alone very long, ever, either time. And it's not because I was looking. When you don't look, it falls out of the woodwork. And if you make a mistake and marry the same type, if you had a divorce, I married a Scorpio and I'm a Scorpio. I should have known that wasn't going to work. 2 Scorpios, because that's very intense. But I wasn't thinking. I never looked at my own hand and it shows divorce. And I went, oh nuts.
That's a good question. What you brought out about the signs. Because there's some signs you're not compatible with.
That's right.
So if you do meet your soulmate, it's a sign that you're going to be compatible with. Is that correct?
Sometimes a mother and a child don't get along ever because their signs are not together. You know, not like Taurus and Scorpio are completely opposite from each other, but they complement each other. So, but Scorpio and Scorpio is a killer. So I married a Libra this time. And Libra is right next to Scorpio, but it's easygoing, see? Easier than, I'm an intense.
So what's a good sign for a Cancer?
I don't know. I don't play with that. You could get a book at the library and find out. You could go to the library and somebody could hit on you while you're there studying astrology books because you never knew that you were going to meet anybody there, see? Now, I took an exercise class in Louisville. It was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was already married, but I thought, I'm going to take an exercise class. 5 men were in the class with 40 women. All 5 of them tried to hit on me, and I said, married. It didn't matter. I was new. I just joined the class, and every one of them was 57, 55, so I go home, and that night I tell my husband, there was 5 men in that class, and all 5 of them couldn't wait to meet me, and they wanted to ask me out. Were they 97? I said, no, one was 57. He said, uh-oh. And I said, yeah, uh-oh. Because I was so lively when I got to the class, they just loved that I was full of it. See, I answered the teacher back, nobody else would speak up. I can't help it. Your personality is who you are, and mine is this. See, so it's probably too much, but I don't know how to temper it down either. I just am who I am. Okay? But so I don't like people who are phonies, and I'm not. And I can tell when somebody goes, hi, I'm so proud of you, and it's just that fake hi. And I don't like that because I don't do that. Either I'm proud of somebody or I'm not, but I don't say it if I'm not, see? And some people will say anything just to shut you up. You know, and they'll say, oh, I'm just so glad you wrote that book. And it's just such a fake smile, you know, you just know it. You feel it. And I don't do that. So if it's good, I'll say it. If it isn't good, I don't say it. I just keep my mouth quiet. And sometimes I don't. You know, compliments are wonderful, but if they're not really heartfelt and true, then I don't want to hear it. Right? Okay, did everybody like that? Anybody else have any other questions? Yes?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
You have more than one soulmate, and just because someone's a soulmate, does that mean you're supposed
I
to
can't
be
hear
with-
you. What?
You have more than one soulmate, and just because someone's a soulmate, does that mean you have to be with them?
No. Sometimes soulmates come together to complete whatever they didn't finish back there, and then they separate. You don't have to marry them, but sometimes you come together to grow, or you come together to complete whatever. Let's say grandma, my favorite thing, grandma and grandpa. Let's say you were grandpa. Grandma died and he didn't get to the hospital last time in time to say goodbye. This time you're you. You're not grandpa, but you're carrying those imprints, those implants, and you have memory banks of grandma and grandpa saying goodbye, but they didn't get to. This time you meet somebody and you go, I'm so glad I met you. And you really mean it. Why? It's grandma and grandpa reuniting. See, that's a soulmate. And doesn't mean you have to marry that person. You're just so glad you got to say goodbye this time. See? Or hello. And so what's your other question?
Just that, do we have more than one soulmate?
Well, I'm doing readings back there now, if anybody wants to do a 5-minute one. And I can tell how many you had, and I'll tell you. And a soulmate is, a guardian angel is this big, and your angels can get you your soulmate. You want to know why? Because they're your conduit to God, and God's kind of busy, but they go straight up if you ask for it. They find out what they need, they come back and whisper it in your ear. That's why you need the pencil and paper everywhere you are, so you can jot it down. So I must have heard go bowling. I don't remember hearing that, but I was going through a divorce. I felt really terrible. I was working 2 jobs, and something said to me, you ought to go bowling. So I said, okay. So I did, and look what happened. See? So some of the people on that bowling league, I bump into them at different things, different times, and they go, oh my God, are you two still together? I said, well, we've been married 17 years. They said, we never heard you got married, because once you're with a couple, you don't go anymore to something like that. You don't need to. See? So we had our own life then. But in that group, there was maybe 40 people.
I think I've met more than one soulmate, but none of them ever worked out.
Okay. Well, when I look in your hand, I'll tell you how many you had. And some people never get married, and some people get married 5 times. You don't have to marry everybody that asks you. See that? So I had 5 proposals, and 2 of them I knew weren't going to work out, and I said no, thank goodness. But I don't believe in divorce. And so I worked 11 of the 13 years. I worked at it, and I was the 4th wife of somebody. He didn't work at it. So he just was easier to get divorced than it was to stay married. And so I hated that, and I said, I'm never doing this. I don't believe in divorce. I'll keep working at it. And one day I went, I believe in divorce now. It took me 11 years to say that. And so that was the happiest day of my life, because I realized then I was free. Because you can't change anybody else. You can only change yourself. And I'm telling all of you, change yourself. Make yourself sparkly. I don't care what you do. Do something different than you always did. Like, you have beautiful dark hair. What if you had some gold highlights? Have you ever thought of that?
No.
Well, that would get so many people's attention. They go like that. She has gorgeous gold hair. See that? She's got it's frosted, right?
Don't let the gray go out.
No, don't let the gray grow out. I don't believe in gray. Okay, because I have some too. But the thing is, if you take care of you, you nurture yourself, then you have something to give to somebody else. So I am finished. And thank
Okay.
you again.
Thank you very much, and we'll take a break, and then those of you who would like to have your palm read, please.